All right. Come on in. Come on in. We are
Hey,
live in effect. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Not to Our Corporation. I'm going to just give some people some time to come in if they decide to. And if not, all is well. We will continue because this is our
that's
good
tough.
first go round. So why not? Welcome, welcome,
Right,
welcome.
right. Thank you.
If we can, we're going to give a few, maybe about 2 more minutes to get started. All right.
Okay.
All
I can't hear
right.
you.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. And anybody that comes in, chimes in, that's fine. And the replay version will be on your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you like. So yeah, welcome to Not to What Corporation. This is a fairly new podcast, and we plan on discussing communion in the community. Part of our title today consists of the new code. What is the code now? Because we have literally taken the beginning of the year by storm, and it already feels like no go.
Right.
With all of the tragic loss that we've had thus far, um, I don't even know where to start. And so I said I needed to start this podcast to try to figure out, like, as a woman here, within the states, um, paying law abiding tax citizen, trying to do the right things in life. What are we doing wrong? Or what can I do better? So I just want to put in a few HR, comments here. So everything that we discuss here, I put out there is all alleged. So I'm going to read this warning. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video docs under certain circumstances without authorizing of the copyright holder. This is called fair use, and it is
Right.
allowed for purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under Title 107 USC 107. So now that we got that part out of the way, is the why. The why because we need it, and the why because I'm confused on which way we going. And hey, we're gonna have several different categories, and starting with category we the people. We the people, that means we all the people, the whole Crayola box. Um, I'm going to be discussing local, national, and international news. I'll also will be having You're My Hero for the community, because I think that, we sit here, we watch everybody else. And mind you, these people already got their bread. But at the end of the day, there's some amazing people in the community that they need to be shot out. They need a little highlight. They need a little motivation. They need a little boost. And why not? And then there's a portion here, enter, under, and overstanding, body, mind, and soul. And so I'm not going to get too deep into that until it's time to get too deep into that, because that's deep
Right.
penetration right there. Um, we're going to be streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I'm going to try to be consistent with the 8 o'clock until we get the right rhythm going. That's what it is. And until then, in the meantime, in between time, as a business owner myself, I'd like to highlight business owners in the community and or across the state. So last but not least, musicians. If you are a musician, if you are a poet, if you have any kind of special thing that you'd like to do, chime in and let's hear you. Let's do this. My Cash App is at the bottom, as well as my PayPal. And if you want to take a look at our website, please hit up www.indigenousherbeauty.com. My husband and I own a natural hair care product line, and it's fairly new, just getting off the ground. We did our launch just very recently. Take a look at our website. It's still trying to pick up and in effect, but give it a shot. Let's begin. All right. So the first thing I want to begin with is this breaking news for today. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So if I may, just give me 1 second.
Okay.
But before I start, I'd like to talk to you about this situation because it's very intriguing here. Here is, it has a lot of variables in it. But breaking news, Mid Florida Credit Union racial discrimination lawsuit. This is about a 70-year-old woman, 70 years old. And I didn't even know that her husband is a retired lieutenant colonel. So that is very near and dear to my heart as well. Let's just get into it. So there she was, going to the ATM, taking or no, putting in 4 $100 bills and 10 $20 bills. That makes $600, right? So $600 into the ATM. She was trying to go ahead and make some payments towards her mortgage. And I guess the ATM technician was there and was trying to fix it all at the same time. She ended up receiving a receipt and she assumed that the money would be there the next day. Well, she took a look at her account, nothing in there. She went back into the bank and they said that due to the technician issue, that she needed to fill out some type of disrupt form and she needed to wait 2 to 3 days. For the most part, the police was called and something along the lines of mentioning gun. She never mentioned gun. She never mentioned anything of a gun. She stated she don't even like guns. She doesn't even own a gun. Why for when her husband's a lieutenant colonel? He know what to do. But at the same time,
Right.
at the same time, the police officers took this 70-year-old woman into custody, had her handcuffed like she was a real threat, and brought her to jail. She spent a day and a half in jail. They stripped her of her clothing. They did not feed her. She even have a broken nose, a fractured nose. So let's get into it. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's 45 minutes long, but I'm just going to get the meat and the potatoes, which starts right about here. Hey, do we have a caller? Can you hear? You guys can hear?
Yes, a little bit, but not much.
She's placing a lot of good emphasis on it right there. But let me go further to the treatment while she was in jail. It's so sad because I can hear the cry and the passion in her voice, as well as some of the hurt, you know. And is at what point do they say this lady is 70 years old? She is not a threat to us nor the bank. You know, if I was that cashier there or that booth teller,
Why did they arrest her in the
come
first
on
place,
me.
though?
Because she said she wasn't leaving until she gets some more information on where her $600 went. Because
Okay, that's
apparently the
fair.
$600, yeah. I mean, hmm.
Um,
Well, she got Ben Crump on the scene. So Ben Crump is literally coming back from a funeral. Ty Nichols, Tyree Nichols, excuse me, funeral. So this is another matter that is just with the police that I I'm trying to figure out where are we going wrong here. Like we're picking on the wrong people, like all the wrong people. So that was the breaking news for today. And I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to the other portion of our segments. Is there any additional information that you guys want anybody want to put out at this point?
now, it's just interesting that I'm echoing a little bit, but it's just interesting to me that they arrested the lady because she didn't want to leave the bank. Instead of trying to resolve it, excuse me, on the lower level, you brought the police involved. Now, unless there's some missing information or something, if she was cussing, if she's hurting other, customers coming in and doing something like that of that nature, that sounds like a managerial and leadership um, situation that could have been handled at the lowest denominator instead of taking this person to jail. So those in that leadership position at that bank need to really be examined. And did they follow protocol? Did they address her issue or did they ignore her issue? And did it escalate because of them ignoring her? Because like anyone, they want to be heard. And if she was not heard, then I'm quite sure that that's going to cause even more things as well. So it's just interesting to know when all the facts come out. I know they're showing her side of the story, but I would love to hear what they did on their part to escalate this, basically.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's just my thought. I got to read the story a little more just because from the highlights you showed me, it really didn't go into detail. So I'll go back and do my research on it as well. But that's
Yes,
very interesting, though. You know what I mean?
I
So
feel you
good
on that
highlight.
one. Anyone else?
I think you got two callers that just joined in. They may have missed the actual
I
display of your
see.
news.
Oh, good day, Hell. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Hmm.
I muted myself, but hey.
So let me fill you guys in. I don't know if you heard about the breaking news that occurred with Banking While Black. Banking While Black is the story here. And the young lady, she is a young lady because she looked good for her age. Yes, she does. And she's 70 years old. But at the same time, she went in to go place the $600 into an ATM machine and ended up getting locked up, thrown into jail for a day and a half. Um, Not good, but if you guys want to take a further look into that story, it is over at Ben Crump is the lawyer for this right now, and it's on YouTube here. And I just felt like it was necessary, being as well as the fact that her husband's a retired lieutenant colonel, and she has never been in trouble a day in her life. And so I thought it was necessary to have this story on here because she mentioned the surveillance cameras, and that was another situation that was near and dear to my heart when Tyre Nichols and the surveillance cameras. So we have all these cameras and everywhere throughout the community, and it's doing its job. But what it is capturing we're doing the right things, and it's somewhere something's triggering off at top up top. Hence the reason why the surveillance cameras is catching it. But I just want to highlight, since it's Black History Month, a black history, a black woman who has made history along this way. And while we're talking about surveillance cameras, Marie Van Britton Brown is her name. Marie Van Britton Brown was a full-time nurse, and she's recognized for the security threats to her home and devised a system that would alert her of strangers at the door and contact relevant authorities as quickly as possible. Her original invention consists of peepholes, a camera, monitors, a two-way microphone. The finishing touch was an alarm button that, when pressed, would immediately contact the police. Her patent laid the groundwork for the modern closed circuit television system that is widely used for surveillance, home security system, push button alarms, trigger, crime prevention, and traffic monitoring, which, as we can clearly see between the Tyre Nichols case, this lady's case, and the list goes on, even with the Shanquella Robinson case, you know, the cameras was all in effect. And that's what's going to take these people down. And I've learned now to just go ahead and be at ease with living amongst cameras because it just is what it is at this point. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and break the discussion into the emasculation of men, the disrespect of women, being on code. What is that about? How do we get better? How do I teach me how to get better with talking to a man or having that conversation with a man? They say, you're too heavy in the voice, was one thing that I heard. Another thing was, the pointing, the head, the snapping of the head, or we're talking too fast. So what is it, men? Is it a change of the time or a change of the flow of how things are supposed to work, or just us not understanding? Mr.
I'm
Handheld, you wanted to say something?
nah. How many men on here?
At this time, you're the one, you're the one.
Nah, I ain't ready for female bashing right now.
Tracking, tracking all, sir. No worries. Well, ma'am, do you have any, Henny, ma'am? Deborah?
Okay, what's my question? Because I know you directed that at the mail, so I was waiting on Mr. Window to see if he was going to say something. But what are
I'm
you
handheld.
asking from the? Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry, I ain't got my reading glasses on. Oh, I do now, Mr. Handheld. Excuse me, sir. So what are you addressing for Mr. Handheld that he did not want to answer that you're asking the females now? So yes,
So
ma'am.
my
I just
thing
need
is,
clarification again. That's all.
no problem. Try to figure out, is it the way it's I get all the time, like, hey, you're talking too heavy, or you're talking too fast, or you're pointing. Everything that we do now is disrespectful to men. So I'm trying to figure out, what is it that we're doing wrong, and what could we do better, and how do we go about, like, should I talk like this,
Well,
or
it
right?
depends on who is. Well, for me personally, it depends on what man am I talking to. Am I talking to someone that's looking for something to be wrong, or am I addressing a crowd of men? So it all depends on the audience in which I'm speaking to. Now, for me, when I get passionate about something, yes, my voice escalate, and I've learned with different cultures because of my background. It's not that I'm angry; it's just that I get passionate. But I've learned how to turn the volume down, if that makes sense, and still be expressive and still be passionate, but to be able to be effective and efficient in my language and in what I'm saying. So it all depends on what kind of man you're talking to and what kind of man is making these statements that some men just don't want to hear it. So are you talking to that aggressor that just don't want to hear what you got to say before you even said it? So that's kind of broad in a sense where it all depends on the audience of men I'm talking to. Because, if you're talking to someone, as soon as you say something, they find something wrong with what you just said and you haven't really articulate yourself to the fullest, then yeah, you're gonna kind of be on edge, and that passion of them listening to you gonna be affected by how you speak. And that's where you have to have a self-awareness and say, wait a minute, I know who I'm messing with, I know who I'm talking to. So either I need to turn my volume down, maybe I need to turn my volume mid-range, or maybe I need to turn my volume all the way up. Whichever one gonna get their attention to for them to pipe down to get to listen and hear you and what you're saying. So it all depends on the man from my perspective and who you're addressing, or men for that per se.
Good stuff. Tracy, I'd like to hear your spill on it, and the little doggy.
Girl, she's so bad. She's spoiled. But I'm learning too that as women we can be very strong. We can't do it with muscle. We'll never beat a man with our muscle because they have testosterone. But when we talk, we have to embrace our feminine energy, um, because masculine and masculine don't go together. It's automatically a clash. So if I have to
Mm-hmm.
bring up my masculine energy to get my point across, men generally don't accept the words coming from my mouth. But if I
Don't
push
like
my
hear that
feminine
shit.
energy on them, they have a tendency to hear me more. And that's what I'm learning as I'm getting older. I mean younger, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how I put it. So that's the best I could say on that level. But I think
Oh,
Danielle will probably be able to tell us.
Why in hell? I'm
Because
just a listener. I am just a listener.
yeah, but how do you? I mean, when if a female comes to you and she's, doing exactly what she was saying, how you don't receive that very well. But if she comes to you soft and feminine and can then can you can respect her or hear what she's saying is what I'm asking you.
The voice ain't got nothing to do with it. It's how you come.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
audience. So I got from Deborah, audience, feminine energy, and now how you come. So it's the audience, feminine
Yeah,
energy,
it's,
how you
it's
come.
not about that. It's you can come in you can be a female with a manly voice. If you come in like raw, then what you expect? That's anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say you have to know your audience, because it may be a time where you need that femininity, like Tracy was saying, and you can bring that to the table. Then I might be around handheld and I might need my rah, because at that moment that's all he understanding. So for me it's based on the audience in which I'm talking to. And then there's time when I have to talk to handheld that femininity is just as nice and petite and beautiful, and he still hear me or listening. So to me, That's why, and I love what both of them said. It depends on the audience of that man or men in which I'm addressing.
So for the women, what is it about us, sir, that you may find difficult to wrap around at the time? It's not Black woman anger, or oh, she just always mad, or is she always like that? What if is that like what is it with you guys that says it? Well, not only you, because the workforce does that too. Where everything is Black woman is always angry, but we're not angry about much of nothing. I think it is that we're thinking a lot. We think a lot about a whole bunch of stuff. So can you help me get better?
Can I help you get better?
Well, us all.
Y'all better leave me alone. You don't want me to get started.
She do. She asking you, bro.
I think not.
James, are you chiming in?
Yeah, chime in.
Hold on. How you want me to mute the mic, sweetheart? 1 second.
Sure thing. Hold on.
Oh, I thought he was chiming in, but he said he'll come in a little later.
A little later. How long you gonna be on here?
Give me one. Give me 1 second.
Okay, hold on.
Send me a link. Okay, so let me send him this link so he could get on. I'm sorry.
And then he'll stop growling.
Yeah, great.
See?
We got that grizzly bear on.
Point right there taken. See? See what I'm saying?
That's
No
love. That's
comment.
not aggressiveness. That is love.
See what I'm saying? No comment. No comment. I refuse to answer any of your questions, ma'am.
Okay, well, let's go on to valuing each other. How
Yeah,
can we value each
you got the
other?
wrong people on here.
No, that's
You
all
ain't
right.
about,
I need all I can get. So just if you
you
can,
ain't
don't
about
want
to
just
get me
be
talking. Y'all
a
ain't about to
willing
get me talking
participant.
no shit.
Oh Lord.
In, in the meantime, in between time, hold on. I think somebody's telling me.
It's a setup.
No, it's
No,
not.
no. And then I think that this is pretty cool for me to be able to speak to everybody all at one time. So, Tracy, I've been meaning to say hi and tell you hello. And, eventually things will start going a little bit, better with the audience and the crowd. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to need y'all to chime in every day, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Mr. Handheld. Is he on? He came off? While I get it right. So Tracy, how are you?
Me, I'm good.
I know that's right.
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
I see you petting that daggone dog.
Girl, that's my emotional support dog, but she
It's all
bad.
right.
She bad.
She cute.
She don't give me no peace.
That's Cricket Mouth.
That's Cricket Mouth. Debbie called Cricket Mouth.
She's just as cute as she want to be, though. I love her to death.
She love you too. She hear your voice. That's why she acting like she acting now. She want attention, and she don't never do that. Look, now,
Hey, Cricket Mouth. Look, hi.
Debbie?
Hi, Cricket Mouth.
You hear Auntie Debbie talking to you?
All right, James. Well, you online now, so I guess you could help us answer this question. What is it, that I might be doing wrong, that we may be doing wrong when it comes to disrespecting a man or what they're called emasculating a man.
How come I don't see nobody?
Let me see. I'm just. Yeah, I have technical difficulties around here. What's the matter with this camera?
Yeah, that's what I'm
We can hear
having.
you, though.
Oh yes. That's a tough question. You got to think too. Today's world and society pushes so much around just that whole thing. Whether it's just your daily scroll, you can wake up in a good mood and all of a sudden you get a bunch of hate mail from a bunch of, just angry, what they call algorithm or something like that. So
Right.
a lot of stuff is being pushed because I just remember back growing up, man gets off of work or whatever, or vice versa, and then a bunch of people sitting there watching Maury, and he's not the father type business, just pushes a stereotype. So it's just society and for the whole.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how do we get better? What's tomorrow gonna look like? Is it, oh well, you speaking with me with this deep voice, and or you wobbling your head, you pointing, like there's these descriptions that you guys put on us, or that I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out how. Like, what do we need to do better to like maintain this relationship, to horn in on a what a good relationship is going to look like going forward? Because the yelling and the screaming is not doing it anymore. I mean, we're literally having anxiety attacks, depression. So many different things are occurring right now. What we need to do is be horning in a close contact with each other.
Are you asking for a solution?
Hmm.
Well, I like to go back, but he said old school or whatever, because I believe in that. But my mom used to have these things when we were young. It's called round table talk, and we ain't never had no round table. But what she did was when there was conflict in the home, whether it was between my siblings and I, we had to sit at the table and we had to talk. I think we have gotten away from that. We do too much texting, we do too much TikToking and tweeting, and we tell Facebook everything what's going on but the person in which we had the problem with. So
Yeah.
first of all, we're going to get back to any kind of norm. We have to set that norm, which your norm might look different from my norm. So our comparison should never be, because what's normal for me may not be normal for you. So my norm for me is if I have the men in my house, and like say for instance, I have two, my brother and my son. If there's a problem, then that's the time we need to sit down and talk about it. If I cannot, because as you say, we get emotional or our voice escalate or we get passionate, then I'm gonna refrain for a day or two till I can come back and talk to you at a rational tone of voice where we both can be understood and not me talking for you to talk at me, but to me. So if we're going to get to any norm, you got to figure out what the norm is for your, as I like what James said, algorithm in your household. So everybody algorithm is different. My algorithm in my household, when my brother and I beef, is both of us pull away from each other and then we come back and talk. So since I'm not married, I use what I have. That's why I say everybody scenario is different. What worked for us may not work for someone else. But for us, we got to get quiet for a minute, and then we come back and we sit down and have those heart to heart conversation, those hard conversations, those facts conversation, not a finger point conversation, but
Yeah.
accountability session, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
that makes
if it
sense.
doesn't work if none of us ain't gonna be accountable for us, because I'm gonna make some mistake, he gonna make some mistake, my son gonna make some mistake, but we have to be accountable for it in order for us to get over it, get past it, and get through it, as Mr. Handhill would always say. Because when you look
Yeah,
up, it's gonna be some more stuff.
Mm. And that's she said something key too. Accountability. Uh, and accountability is just take it as what it is. Everyone has their own account. So you have to really take that in, and that's where the whole algorithm thing comes in with negativity. You gotta
Yeah.
be careful what you intake. Because you could be taking in somebody's, you know, for instance, for somebody normal, somebody come to him that's abnormal, talking to him about some sexual desires or this, that, and the third, queering his mind. You know what I'm saying? That's an actual thing. Today, that is the norm, but it's still an abnorm, and it is not right, even though they say it's right. And these things is would circle around right to principles, and that's what you have to really set in motion of all things: principles, then morale or morals. And then that pretty much sets the tone on your daily walk in anything. So therefore, you won't be compromised in anything, no matter what the case is. As as the most Christians say, put God first, and then everything else moves in that order. And that's if you understand the crafts of what that means.
Okay. All right, James, I'll buy that for $7.99. Okay, good stuff. So that brings me back to what is the trigger? What are some of the triggers for you guys when it comes to the relationship and having those hard conversations? Like at what moment, if two people do not know when to stop, hey, let's calm down, let's talk about this, let's bring our voices down, let's ease. What's the rule of thumb? What's the tactic? And who is triggering the event?
That's called common sense. You have to take, like I said, it's about what you intake and move forward with. Simple as that. You hold your words accountable because words is the most precious thing that you can possibly put on paper or even digital. You can have a
Okay, so as
digital
you
sign
mentioned
or you can
words,
have a signature. They are the
as you
most
mentioned
powerful
words,
thing that you can contract.
as you mentioned words, when is keeping it 100 too real? When things are said and feelings are pushed to the limit, you don't kept it so 100. To at what point is that too real? And you might need to keep it 80.
So that's a
Mm,
good one
that's
because
a good one.
everybody 100 ain't 100.
And
Because what I
everybody don't
think,
want to hear.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because what I feel like I'm being 100, somebody might feel like you getting oversensitive or you this or you that. The thing is like that old saying, and I definitely agree. You can be 100, but just because I'm being 100 don't mean it's going to be received as 100. So you have to meet people where they are, and but you have to be your authentic self as well. Like Wendell can kick some knowledge to me that I might not want to. Mr. Handheld, excuse me, may kick some knowledge to me that I might not want to hear. Miss Tracy can kick some things I might not want to hear. But they gave me their 100 because I'm not at that level of mentality just yet to receive it. Whether I'm not holding on to my own common sense or I just don't want to hear it because it might be too truthful or too hurtful, then I'm their 100 ain't gonna have no impact on some individuals.
Right.
So with all of us, that means that because it doesn't have an impact, don't mean we supposed to step back. Do that make sense? Because if I love you and I care about you and you're my friend and you're my brother, you're my sister, I'm still going to be engaged with you regardless until we get to that plateau again where we can keep it 100. I understand your 100, you understand my 100. But the bottom line to that is just simplified communication and respect. Me understanding that who am I dealing with? I'm dealing with my brother. So when I'm dealing with my brother, there's certain things he gonna grasp at his moment, and there's certain things he not gonna grasp, whether no matter how I say it. And when I'm talking to my sister, it's certain things she gonna grasp. She has her opinion, but the bottom line is wherever we at on that plateau, we respecting each other regardless.
Good stuff. Great thought process on that one. James, you have anything you want to add, sir? Mr. Hairhill?
Mm,
Mr. Handheld.
Mr. Handheld got a lot to say,
Mm.
but he ain't about to say it.
Okay. That's all right. James? Oh, Master Ra. My bad. Do you have anything that you had to say?
She pretty much covered it.
Is it
That's right.
anybody else? Is it anybody else on here?
That's what I'm looking like. I can't really see my
No,
camera
not at
all
this
messed up.
time. At least I don't know. I see that there are no viewers, but what they do is they come back after the live and take a look at everything. So, you know, and that's the other thing is supporting your sister. I see that, I call her man, but Deborah's been like every crazy thing I decide to do, she's all for it, and that's what it's about, when we come together. I'm glad that we're here. Shoot, James didn't get a chance to hear from you in a long time. Tracy, I didn't get a chance to hear from you in a long time. And it's just we all have these one-on-one conversations, and sometimes it needs to be like five, six, maybe 134 people, so that we can really figure out like what am I doing wrong. It's the self-assessment time
And then
in
and
my
then
relationship.
nine times out of ten, it's not necessarily, you don't make it too personal because it's not really personal. We just look, you're looking to for ways and topics to really, you know, motivate a conversation.
Right. I really am. You know, when I say what am I mean that very vaguely and very generally, not necessarily me, but there is a percentage of there in me, you know, that I want to learn more. I want to be better. I have older women and men that I associate myself with. I really don't tend to get involved with people around about my age because they want to talk love and hip hop and stuff that is not going to make me no better. You know, I'd rather deal with some things that's going to give me some level of substance. Y'all laying down some good gems. You know, I always get the gems from Miss Deborah, and so at the end of the day, it's kind of like, well, shoot, I want to have that conversation with other females, other girls, other men, women. They need to hear this stuff too. You know,
But you know
and
what?
walk the walk.
But the good gems come from everybody in this room because I've had deep conversation with every last one of everyone that's in here. And the key is having an open mind that we all learn from each other. You know what I mean? Because I can learn from James, I can learn from Handhill, I can learn from Tracy, I learn from you. But we have to be willing to take notes. But when my ego is so big that I think I know everything and I'm not willing to take notes from my four gems that's on here, then I don't grow. That's just me
Mhm.
personally. So I like
Absolutely.
learning from everybody because everybody brings something to the table. Everyone has a different gift. Everyone has a different talent. God give everyone different wisdom on different levels. And what I might not need that James give me at that moment, dang, maybe a month later down the line, it comes to my memory bank. Oh, dang, that me and James was talking about that. That's what this is. Oh, Mr. Handhill was talking about that. Oh, Tracy hit that yesterday. And then today I walk into the office and what she said, it falls in line. But was I taking notes during our conversation? Was I having an open mind to listen and learn and not think, oh, I know everything? Oh, hell to the no, I don't. That's a lie. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't be cussing on your thing, but hell ain't a bad
Are
word.
you good?
Shouldn't be
Let
cussing,
me put my
period.
let me put my mic on mute for that one.
No, you are good. I let you look. You are pushing
Eh,
interaction. Oh, I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
No, she said right because at the end of the day, what is a curse word? You know what I'm saying? I think back in the day was profanity or something. You know, you said something profound. You know, but what is a curse word? You know, this is where we as Negroes already, you know, behind on. You know, like I tell it again, it's a language. You gotta be careful with intake and outtake.
You
So
shit.
you know, you did not curse at all. You just said a word. You know.
I'm with that.
Lord have mercy.
Cause talking to me, you're liable to hear one, or
Or
two,
two.
or three, or four.
Bro, acceptable.
Woo.
Hold on. Remy two shots. Are you on
Uh,
the line?
How you doing?
Hey,
yeah,
Remy two shots. Good day. So we
Remy.
on
Well, I
here
said,
just chatting
uh,
it up and we trying to figure out, you know, what's the thing when guys say women all we do now is emasculate men and disrespect men, especially our black men. What is it that you guys are describing exactly, and how can we get better? What do we need to do? So far, we heard some pretty good stuff. It depends on the audience. Feminine energy, and how we come is, we need to come a little bit softer. So what is it?
hmm, hmm, come on, that's a good one.
It is. now
Mm.
just now just tell the truth.
Like it's like to me, I feel that some women was raised a certain way and some was raised this type of way, and but it's the same. It's a vice versa with guys because some guys do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Some guys go this way. So I don't know. It seems like I feel that they try to outdo each other in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I don't know how though, but they try to like
Kind of like a
be on
competition
top.
thing.
Absolutely. He said it best. He said it absolutely. It's like who can serve master best at the end of the day. And if you serving better than me, that makes you less valuable than the other, you know. So it's just a sad case
So
in reality.
forgive me if I'm wrong. Okay, is that like woman to man? Because I
Absolutely.
know
But the American Negro serves a complex reality.
American Negro. Okay.
He
I
serves
like
a
that.
complex reality. I mean, it's just tough. You know, you gotta put on a shirt. You gotta put on different shirts every day.
That's the
Each
truth.
and every one of
Well,
us, whether it's
Could it
spiritual
be? I'm
or
sorry.
legal or whatever, military or whatever. We all put on different things. Even the local people at the KFC or something, they got to put on a smile the best they can and hold that position. It's the world we live in. It's tricky. We do the best we can. It's not necessarily a male versus female thing. It's just a society thing that twists us and puts us
How
in
do
a
we tone
negative
it? How do we
position.
tone it down,
You
Raja?
have to you have to look into the mirror and see your self worth and then think to yourself, what is worth? What is worthless? Because you're in the middle of a desert somewhere, you got 3 gallons of water, you got $3 million cash, and you got 400 miles to walk. Which one you bringing?
That'd be your dumb ass, or whoever it is. Because everybody know you need the water, nigga. You
exactly.
want to make it through that far, shit. But you're right. It would be some people that probably would try to take both.
Okay, in light of that situation, I'm taking both. I might take all the money, but I'm stuffing some here and I'm stuffing some there, but I'm taking mainly the water because I might need
Yeah.
to pay somebody along the way to get my butt to safety. So I'm gonna have a little
Mhm.
stash.
But you
That's
Yeah.
gotta
my
also,
stash. My phone fall. I'm gonna have a
But
little
see,
stash somewhere,
but see,
but I
but
might
see,
not be able to
but see,
also,
take the
that's the,
whole big
but see,
part.
that was the thing. He said you can
I
only
know.
take one. Okay,
I know. I
okay.
was talking junk. I heard him when I was talking junk. I was
but
talking junk.
suppose you could take both of them though. It'd
Well,
be
shit, they boys gonna
suppose you
get
could take.
dragged through the desert with the water. There.
I'm done.
But you have to think too, in a survival mode, you'll let it go pretty soon because you think about the weight. You have to really think
Okay,
about
well,
the
look,
weight
the
of
reason why
food.
I'm gonna drag it is because it get cold in the desert at
And I'm
night,
gonna need to
so I'm
burn
gonna
it for some
burn the
heat.
money.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's true.
So so by the so by
That's
the
right.
time
I'm
you
gonna need to burn it. I'm gonna need to burn it with my bifocals with the sun.
Hey, look, you talking to survivalists now here. You know what I'm saying? So that might be a different story, bro.
But we
So
know what
they
you're saying.
say,
We just make we just that was a good laugh. We know what you mean though,
that's all
James.
right. That's
Yeah, I
all
do. We
right.
do.
It's a good one. But they say men are brought up with a sense of entitlement.
Shitting me. I mean, shooting me, shotting me.
But I think that they should be brought up with a sense of entitlement. In my mind, it's the man, then the woman, then the children.
So well,
So
that's what goes back to what king, queen. You know what I'm saying? Princess.
Con,
You know what I'm
Joker.
saying? Prince.
Yeah.
That goes back to that. So they say the male's supposed to be the king. You know what I'm saying? But some act like kings and some don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
Like I said before, like the queen. Sometimes the queen try to be above the king.
that should not be. And I'm trying to figure out, in some days, I feel that it should be. So, what
Yeah,
is
yeah.
happening in the world that's getting me to think that way? Because when I grew up, or the way I was growing up, was when my brother got out the bed, or when he was coming back home from school or whatever, I have to wash the dishes. I had to make sure the meat was out. I had to make sure that his bed was made, and like he did nothing. And I was like, bro.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
So,
He
and
didn't
that's
do
a
nothing?
Caribbean.
You said he didn't do
He
nothing.
was being a man because in the Caribbean aspect of things, that's how they kind of raised
So
them.
so
Like,
he didn't till the earth, he didn't milk the cow, he didn't pork the chicken.
He didn't he
So
didn't
he's
take
yeah,
out
just
he
a
the
took
he
the
lazy
didn't take
garbage
out the
nigga.
out. He
trash.
took the garbage out,
He didn't take out the
and
trash.
He was a
that's
lazy nigga. That's what his problem was. I
and
don't know.
Exactly. That was yeah.
you gotta also keep in mind too. And I'm gonna have to defend the young brother at the same time because you gotta understand we speaking of the age difference too. You know, you can't look to a young man to do what an older woman can possibly do at the same time. So I mean that like for instance,
probably
if a young girl is 13, you can't expect a 9-year-old, to take the task of a female 13-year-old girl. It's shameful, and
Well,
that's what we do today because we have too many single women necessarily raising boys to be with.
but
You know what I
sometimes
mean?
some kids are smarter than some adults.
That's
So
the point.
it all
The kids
depends
are
on the
smarter than
situation.
adults. The kids is
Yeah,
most
but some kids are smarter than adults. So it depends on the
absolutely.
situation.
You said it right. You said it right.
Attention.
Kids are supposed to be smarter than adults because most adults are what we call today educated, which that means they 9 times out of 10 indoctrinated into a certain square. So where a child is free of thinking and carefree and has what we lack today as adults past what it used to be 18, but now it's getting even lesser, which is
Yeah, that's
imagination.
true.
Yeah. What, 16? What,
Yeah,
16 in the
we
third
lose
state? You an adult?
we lose imagination, which gives creativity
Okay.
and
Yeah,
genius and everything. Even today, I was talking to somebody and just simple writing skills. And I'm like, write it down because writing down, I mean, it gives you a sense of mastering something because you're using the pen on a piece of paper. And so today, most people could speak or put it digital and they think they're doing something because they get a little extra. But in reality, you lose that. You lose
mm,
that extra, that extra thought process that really pushes, your genius out because you give it to something else. You give your capabilities and you look for it in another source when the source is truly in you.
So education versus free mind, free
I
will.
mean, just think of the computer today, for instance. Back in the day when the computer was first invented or thought of, it was us. They called you the PC. That's why today you say they have a new term on a computer. They say my PC. But in reality, the computer is you because you compute and you compute all things. You even compute the computer. You think and you create.
they just had an idea and made it faster. That's all. Because we did the same thing a computer do, but they just do it faster now.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't even say that
Same
because
thing.
if you really know
It's the
what you
same
want to
thing.
know and you have the masters to do it, you have the idea to do it. You can do that faster than the computer.
It's
I
just like
guarantee you.
everything, man. It's just like life. They gonna always do something to make it go faster,
For
including
instance,
cars,
check this out.
motorcycles,
Check this
jet
out. Check this out.
rockets.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Let me ask you a question. It's a simple question because this is something that you master and you already understand. All right. If somebody would ask you, and this is a speed contest now, on see who can get it faster. All right. Between you and any computer, they say you're the recipient. You're the person to answer the question. They say, "What's 2 plus 2?" And it's between you and the computer. Who you think going to get the answer faster? You or the computer?
The
Between the answer
computer,
two. Between
because the
2 plus 2,
computer was taught by us to be faster.
it couldn't get fast. It couldn't answer it faster because by the
Yeah,
time they
because
put that in,
it would know you gonna say 2 plus 2. Say this is what they teaching this stuff, man.
they
Look,
learning.
it would know automatically what you was gonna say before you said it. But you gotta think about it. This thought process came from us.
Okay.
Absolutely,
I like
absolutely.
that one. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because you got to also think too. That program that designs that intellect, what we call antibody
It's
intellect.
gonna be flawed just like us then.
No. Listen. The computer gets intellect to where we have intellect. Think about that. So the more
Yeah,
out information that we put,
it's got a little something. Yeah, yeah, but
so you have to
I,
think. I mean, something as simple as 2 plus 2, the computer cannot get it faster than you because you are a master of that.
okay. So, but see, here's the thing about
And I mean that in
being
every sense
faster.
of anything.
Yeah, but
You could,
that's true what you said, but it's also not true what you said too, because think about asking it something harder that you
okay,
don't
Yeah.
know. That's been programmed.
Yeah. That's
but
yeah.
see, you got to also think too. You got to
Something that
also
you
think.
don't know, and you see what it say. You know what I'm saying? So
But check this out. Check this out. Right. Check this out. It's possible. But you got to also think too. Once you know the formula, and you know that once the formula. So, for instance, if I said 1,600 times zero, you know what I'm saying? You would
It's
already
simple.
know the answer would be a
okay, but
thousand six
look,
hundred
the
times
reason why I
whatever.
said you went simple with that, because 2 plus 2 is 2. Now then, if you say what's 2 times 12 times 144, what's the answer? I bet you who would tell you faster.
Yeah, you're right. Because the degrees, because of degree. But see, real business, you right.
All right. Praise the Lord. Y'all are too
But you
much.
got to
Oh
also
wow.
understand. You got to also understand something. You got to also understand something. I'm talking about a master in this craft. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if I was a master mathematician, you asked me that same question, throw a little division in there, I would still answer it faster than a computer.
Yeah, but then
Because I'm a master of my
who's
craft.
programming? That's called a prodigy.
That's not a prodigy. That's a simple man
Shit,
who knows.
shouldn't me?
No, that's a simple man who knows his calculus. He's an A
Yeah,
student in
but
calculus.
that's just multiplications we talking about. We ain't talking about calculus, bro.
But I'm talking about once you get to that level of calculus, meaning in that realm of, because remember, calculus is a degree in math.
I
So
got you. I got you, man.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
know
Once
what
you
you're
get to
saying.
that level of calculus, we are what considered most people as a mathematician. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? You at that
Okay,
degree.
Jay,
So
praise the Lord. I need you guys to help me answer this question. So, a part of
Yo,
today's topic was healing our community with knowledge, starting with morals, values, and new principles. So, do you guys have any new black codes that you'd like to put out into the atmosphere
what you mean
moving
codes?
forward? New black codes, like being on code. We the
Yeah,
people needs to be
when
on
she
code.
say black clothes, right?
yeah, I got her. I got her. I got her. I got her. I'm like, she trying to get people in trouble is what she trying to do. Woo! You
Used to
said new.
say, okay, your sentences start with the new black code for this year. We the people need to begin to fill in the bank.
Wow. We need to show more love.
That's true.
I like
Now
that.
that's universal. That ain't even to me. That's not even probably. I wouldn't label that as a black code. That is a humanity code. But
Brad.
I agree with what Wendell say because that's across the board. But it starts at home first. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And when I mean at home, I mean within our culture, within everything else too. But that's a
Yeah.
humanity code across
Uh,
the board.
but
So
she didn't say
I know she said black code though.
right.
But
So
love
that
is powerful, so that's
blackness
why
is
I couldn't. Yeah, but love is so powerful that I can't just tie that to black. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah.
Because love is
Right.
strong. Love is a lot. So love is what to me, and from my Christian background, that he died on the cross because
Yeah.
he loved.
It's
So
in
it goes
Africa.
in it.
Exactly.
It's
The
It
in
sacrifice.
goes
Europe.
everywhere. So that's a depth.
That's
That's
right.
in depth. But I love what you said. To show more love. But I just wouldn't label to show more love to a code of blackness. I would say I would want that to be humanity across the board.
I
What about
receive
South?
it. The
You
new
know, just
Crayola box codes.
So they don't need more in South Africa?
I like that.
What more love?
I,
Yeah.
I like
We need
all of that
we need
because
love everywhere, bro. We need it in
but
Bali.
we
We
have
need
to.
it in Aruba. We need it across the board. And being a traveler, I see love across the board
Though, check
from
this out.
different
Check this out.
people, and I've
See what
gotten
we
love from
I
different
think I
people.
think
But I understand
I
what she
think
mean, black code though.
but
Yeah.
see what I think what we do today, honestly, we forget what love truly is. And what love, because we think of love, we think of the movie stuff, not understanding that love is an action. You see what I'm saying? This love is
I
not just,
know.
it's not a commerce thing. You see what I'm saying? So even when you say love for the black man, that means if you are in a position of
Alexa,
power,
stop.
any type of situation, you should be able to pull over a black man and beat him up. You should think twice, and you should have more of an understanding before you even
Yeah.
account the person. Even if
Which
he's a
is
a
which
criminal and
is
his
love.
face is on the news for whatever. You should think twice in every action.
Which is love.
And yeah, to a degree, because also love represents a defense. Love represents,
A
like she
lot of
said,
stuff.
dying, you
Yeah.
know,
Would you love not to take me to jail? Would you love to be alive?
absolutely. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Love
Exactly.
represents a
Exactly.
sacrifice. Because most people got to understand, when you're dealing with certain police officers, any police officer, they have a job. A job is 9 times out of 10 you. So they're going to take you to jail anyway because they have a quarter to fix. So they're looking for anything. They have whether it's 50 people to take in a month or whatever. They have to do
Yeah.
something to meet that quota. You know what I
And
mean?
some
So
of some of them love their jobs.
they love the job. They love the power. You got a young weakling, you know, out here, or even a female these days. Some females they get that position and they've been abused, or they may not have the love of 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 true love as a youth. So they take it out on the male encounters, or even worse. You got the big broski girl. she's a pretty girl, so now she got the power to, rough her up, dyke her out or something, or really
Yeah, but
mistreat her.
we let's just stick with just love. Let's not put true or no. Let's not put no words in front of that, because you can put more words in front of love.
But
Okay,
what I mean by that is they love to do that. That
right?
power.
But
Sweetheart,
you added true love to
can you
that.
give us a code, James? Can you give us a code? You give us a code. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Handheld, excellent, excellent
Okay,
code.
just stick with window. Damn it. Okay, you tired of y'all.
Window.
I know.
Window.
What's up,
So
window? Just
see
stick
me
with
personally.
windows. I'll change it next time to window. Okay.
See me when I think of black holes are doing something differently and just trying. You have to try to speak. I say if you can, you try to speak to the most unfriendliest, ugliest, out of shapest, or whoever you can, whenever you can. That's love. And I don't mean to say it
James,
like
you know what? You provided me a black code just now, and I thought we was on the same wavelength, but you just went too left.
Yeah, he went too far left.
Okay,
But
how about unity?
Yeah.
I like the fact that, like, for instance, with this lady at the bank, right? So in the bank, you have the teller, you have the people in the office, you have all these other folks, whether they're white, black, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. Not
Yeah.
one person spoke up and said nothing. And at that point, I think that the new code should be, even if it's uncomfortable, I have to be intentional about making myself uncomfortable to speak up and out for someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not at the time that it really is going to matter, because that situation could have been completely diffused right then and there. It didn't need to go all the way into prison. A 70-year-old woman, not even a
and
23-year-old woman.
and
That was
that's what I
unnecessary.
mean too about speaking to people. You have to speak to people and be able to speak to them because a lot of people have a lot on their mind. And even with the woman at the bank, you know, you have to if you there and even I don't care what the job pose or what you're doing, you have to be able to speak up or at least stand up and use your position to see what the problem is. You can't just be a bystander or a cowardly man with your phone recording the situation.
Mhm.
You need to, and that's why I said we as a people, we need to think better and do better
Oh
because
shoot.
That also
no
goes
matter
for
what
those
you're doing.
5, 6 police officers that did what they did. Like, not one of them, like, not one
But you got to
say,
you got to
"Hey, this
understand
is slightly out
these
of whack."
people these people that they put out there and on the street like that. Most of these people are cowardly and weak, and as far as in they 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 true world. So they have to present a falsehood, a costume life, and be a superhero and destroy the so-called enemy, which is the civilian people, which is the shame. Because the same people that they come from, they look to as an enemy instead of a protector or a guiding light for something better. And that's what we fail because you trying to impress whoever, and the person you're impressing is so, you know, generic that you don't even understand how false this man is. So you got to think to yourself, and then you look into yourself as like, look at me. How can I, participate in something that I think is greater than me, but really is designed to destroy me? You know, and
So
that's what
this
we fail.
black hole, my black hole pretty much consists of just that. If you're in a situation, speak up. It is okay to speak up. It is okay to
Okay.
discuss. It is okay to
Okay.
talk.
Okay. Well, time's up. On to the next caller, please.
I mean, to shots. What is your black code? Because my
My black
co-host is
hole
on the
would be
line telling me
my
time's up.
my black hole. How about unity? You know what I'm saying? Working together as a team. It ain't no I in team, but everybody working together, try to achieve. You know what I'm saying? Like the better things in life or whatever. But just working together like unity. You know what I'm saying?
That,
Steady knocking on the next man or putting them down, build them up.
that's
Mm,
real. That's
Absolutely,
real talk right there, sir.
facts.
absolutely.
Facts. You have any examples of that? Was it like a situation that recently occurred, or something that you observed recently that led you to this thought process? Because I'm sure we all think of it on a day to day, but it's like putting it into action. How do we action that?
Mm. It's just things that I see like even on a job, like if somebody working in these factories or something like that, and for a person to try to get a boost up, you know what I'm saying, would tell on the next man to bring him down, you know what I'm saying, just to get acknowledged by the man above him, the supervisor, you know what I'm saying, to make them, oh, okay, you gonna be my main man. I'm gonna have you to, you know what I'm saying, to do this for me, do that for me. Just keep your eyes on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Which
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a great one. Just to add off of what they say to caveat, I'd like to caveat off of what you just said. Um, you brought me to another code. I'm gonna take the black out of it, and I'm gonna just put the code. I'm just taking that. But when you're at the job and you pitch an idea and it's crickets, right? But then
oh,
somebody else pitches the idea and it's, oh, great, 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 great. That was
it's
so
exactly,
excellent.
exactly.
What is that? What is that?
This the color. Hey. I'll say on that one, the color of your skin.
Oh man. Miss Tracy. Oh, Miss Tracy, come on.
Is
Tracy
she
came up.
still there?
Tracy,
She had to go.
It's all right.
She had to go.
Mrs. Deborah,
Yes, ma'am. Now
your
you
code.
should know not to ask me that question.
come on, sis, break us. Give us
Again,
one.
it
Give us two.
goes. Yeah, I hear you, Remy. Again, it goes back to the receiver. Who's on the receiving end? It goes back again to that audience because I can say something, and handheld can say something, but if the audience really are more particular for handheld, I could have said, "Hey, the light is about to turn green, and we're going to go ahead and go through it." And Wendell can handheld can say, "The light is green, and we flying through it." Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's the same thing. It's just the choice of different word. But who is the audience we talking to that received his fast and received the light is green, and we can go through it. So you always got to know who you're talking to. You always got to know who you're dealing with because everybody understanding and perception is based on their total reality of you or the speaker. So when you're
Mm.
aware of that, then you know how to adjust the volume of your tone, your voice, your body language. You know how to be probably more articulate. Like I might be laughing and talking junk with y'all, but then the audience I'm with, I mean, I might have to get on their level. Not saying I'm not on their level, but for me to penetrate their level and be more effective and more efficiently, then I might have to have that articulate button turned up just a little. And then the two,
Okay.
I'm at that age now where I just call it out. I'll say, well, what was the difference in what Handheld said and I said? He just said fast, but the both commonality was green. So can someone in the room please explain what was the difference?
Ooh.
No,
Now
Remy,
that
that's your
place,
specialty.
now
Tomato,
that
tomato.
now that places it back in the court of those who want to make that call, and then that becomes their issue, not mine. Because if I don't speak up in an articulate way or a non-threatening manner, then it becomes my energy that I take with me out that room because I'm frustrated. Why should I be frustrated for something that you have an issue with? That's your issue. That's your problem. That's your understanding. That's your lack of wisdom of me or wanting to communicate with me. And I'm not about to carry that load. I got enough stuff to carry, and I'm not about to carry that one. That's just
Well,
That
me.
that's
was
real talk.
that was well
And
That's
said.
then your
true.
That was well
audience,
said.
ma'am. So let's say we're in the round table of 40, 50 folks, give or take, because should you speak to a whole room of folks in the hundreds, right? At the same time, is it best? Where's the coof? So is it best to say it then and there, or is it and let it out right there, or is it best to just wait until that moment has passed? That great idea, great
Mm.
thought goes to somebody else. Everybody leaves up out of there, and then have the conversation with that person.
Is well sometimes you might have to, but then again you have to know what battles to pick. Is it necessary for me to make that point just to show that I'm right, or is it better for me to sit there and look at everybody in the room and do an assessment that here go all the like-minded people, so now I know what I'm dealing with, and then here's the people that disagree with that. So it all depends on for me, a discernment whether I need to address that right then and there, or whether I not just throw my hands up. Because whatever we might be discussing, it might not be that serious for me anyway. So all depends on the depth of that conversation, when it's needed, when it's not needed. But then if you do it and you make that statement and you look at me in a certain kind of fashion, like your intent in your heart was to penetrate to make sure I felt a certain kind of way, then that's a possibility. I probably will address it right then and there in the most professional and profound way that will leave everybody walking out that room like, well, damn.
Good stuff. I know that's dang all right. You know, you got me picturing command and staff, right?
Well, damn. And I mean like the Hoover.
All right. Did he, well, any other suggestions or thoughts? I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and close out for the night. And ma'am, since it's not that much of us, can you go ahead and put a little bit of spazzazzle on it?
What you mean? Say goodbye as a prayer or something?
Sure. It's healing. Look, communion in the community. Okay. I can't with
When
this
they say
today.
you just went straight to the point, what you mean, a prayer? See, now that's just being straight forward, and that's so approachable and that's so real. Now that is real talk right there, bro. I'm not even
Yeah,
mad at you.
She
I
said,
can't. I
she
can't.
said, she said, sprinkle and saute and all this other crap. Just close us out with a prayer and let's move out.
Okay, hold on. I,
Okay, I'm making short, sweet, to the point. All right, y'all. Okay, most gracious Father, we just pause right now, giving you the honor and the praise and the glory. We thank you for what our eyes have seen, what our ears have heard, but most of all, our opening of our minds from different levels of conversation, but the level of commonality of wanting to be better, do better. And so we ask that you continue to order our steps, and so that they may be pleasing unto thy sight. Bless each and every one on here. Bless my sister and her husband as they move forward into their podcast, that it continue to grow and be more effectively. But we thank you for those who have shown their love and being in participation tonight. Be with us now and forevermore. I do pray, because I know by faith you deliver. Amen.
Amen.
All
amen.
right.
Well, good night, you guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out, everybody.
And thank you guys for showing up.
You
Anytime.